Yes, sir. Y'all already know what time it is.
Oh, yes.
It is Parking Lot Parables. I am Matt P.
And I'm Jeremy Chase.
We are coming at you again with another episode. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we ain't gonna talk about being thankful and everything this time. We already talked about being grateful.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in the last episode.
Well, the episode before that.
What did we talk about last episode?
Leadership, bruh.
Leadership?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we sure did.
Yes, sir.
So, staying in that same vein, it only seemed natural that we address, something that kind of goes hand in hand with leadership, or I feel like should go hand in hand. We want to talk about like character and being humble, having good character and being humble.
Yeah, man.
And we also talk about, how detrimental it is, not to just leadership, but anybody when you don't have character and you're not humble.
Yeah, man. Humility is a major factor that we always look over, man. Like, it's a simple concept, but when you really look at it, humility really gets you in a lot of doors more than being aggressive, than being, a savage out here. Like, bruh, it don't take you much to be humble because we're not perfect, man.
Mm-hmm. See, the Webster's definition of humble, not proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive. Like, these are things like most people you see in positions of power. I mean, just be honest, man, they lack.
Oh yeah, man, they lack it a lot. Like, it's sad that people just think they just better than everybody else. Like, and the thing is, we all need each other in some type of way. And like, when you're not humble and you're pompous, like everything goes to your head, and like you just can't live a lifestyle of that. Cause man, once you fall, like you rather be humble yourself than to be humble.
Yeah, so let's see a great example of somebody who's not humble. Donald Trump.
The definition of not humble.
Yeah, very unhumble person. He's like, I gave you this. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have this. I'm like, bro, gas prices was under $2 way before you even was thought about running for office.
Exactly, bro.
Like, yeah, they went up, but chill out. Yeah. Not humble at all, man. Like,
and you know what? A lot of humble people take credit for a bunch of other people's successes, but never take credit for their failures. Like, they can do no wrong. They can't. Like, in their eyes, they're perfect. Like, they're the example. They're the pinnacle of where you should be. And like, if you're not at their level, they ain't even fooling with you.
Yeah. And talking about having character, like you said, character is like, I made a mistake. Exactly. I apologize.
Yeah, doing the right thing.
And we can do better. And I'm gonna learn from that mistake, and I'm gonna grow. Now, what we have an abundance of is people, like you said, who do no wrong. Who they do wrong, they just don't want to admit that. And you can't, if you're not at a certain level, you can't address it.
Exactly.
Like, even if I did do wrong, you can't say nothing.
Exactly. Like, you don't have the ability to correct me. And you can, like, man, it's crazy that we're taught to follow before we lead, but sometimes when we become leaders, like, we let stuff go to our head. Like, we let this position rule instead of what our heart was in the first place.
It's like a lot of lessons have been missed. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe you could say, every generation has it, but I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. You could say maybe it possibly could be getting worse. I don't know. Well, yeah. I would say so because we I don't know, these things that people live by these days, it's more prevalent. Like, you only live once.
Yeah.
So say how you feel.
Be a savage.
Be a savage. Do what you want to do. Say how you feel. I mean, you know, you should speak your mind. I'm not saying you shouldn't speak your mind about things. I mean, but there's a way to go about everything. You know, I mean, because like there's a lot of things that need to be said. You know,
of course. Yeah.
that aren't spoken about. You know, like people who are going through. You know, I think we've talked about, you know, mental health.
Yeah.
You know, shoot, if somebody's taking advantage of you, you need to say something.
Yeah.
People in leadership, you know, are taking advantage of people. You know, manipulating them, making sexual advances, all types of mess, and and they're scared to say something, like because who will believe them? And not just men.
And you know what, man? It's crazy that like we give people so much power over us. Like, so like you said, if you were to correct someone that was in leadership, or like, what power do they really have over you?
At the end of the day, none. It's really all mental.
Exactly.
It's
man.
It's really mental.
Like one, you ain't gonna put your hands on me.
Perfect example, Hitler, right? You know, Hitler wasn't gonna do. I mean, physically, he wasn't gonna do squat to anybody.
No.
But you know, mentally, this joker had power over people.
Oh yeah, man. Like he just
like he had power. I mean, what we have a lot of people who have a lot of sheep-like mentalities.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, and there's nothing wrong with being a follower, but you need to have. Everyone should have some leader in them. You know, you don't have to necessarily be a whole leader, but everyone should have some leader in them. That leader in you will make you assess who it is you're following.
Yeah.
Because at that point, when it gets to that point when they are no longer, you know, doing right, you have the ability
like, hey, you taught me this other way.
Like,
no, that goes against
I'm like, you doing like, this is wrong what you doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but instead what you have here is a lot of people who are like scared to say something.
Yeah, above correction, man.
Or even worse, they don't, like, they're so blind that they won't even see it.
Yeah, man, it's rampant. And this comes to church, to jobs, to family. Like, man, there's so many arenas where people aren't humble. Like, they feel like they can't do no wrong. There's so many, like, rape cases that have gone in families. And they're like, nah, that's just your uncle. He ain't mean to, you know, do it this way. Or
like, what does that mean?
Like what? Like, man, we gotta stop.
How did he mean to do it?
We gotta stop this culture of protecting people in their wrongness. Like, you know, like, of course we all mess up, but man, you can't allow something that hurts someone else or that's wrong to just go on. You know, if it's something like that, especially, like, no, say something about it, stand up. And, you know, because you never know, someone else may get the same thing. Like, it's so many people that have been hurt, whether it's through church or their job or family, because humility didn't take place. They didn't have character. They didn't put themselves in their shoes. They didn't treat people how they would want to be treated, man.
And, you know, I know, like, a lot of things, you know, the ongoing explanation has always been, you know, predominantly it's always been like, you know, it's how they was raised. That's how we were shown things.
Yeah.
And see, that's the problem, you know. It's like I was saying earlier, sheep-like mindsets.
Yep.
Everybody's got to have a little leader in them. Like, I don't care who you are, you got to always have some leader in you.
Think for yourself.
Because that will make you always view, like, you have to be able to view things unbiased.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, we really got to, and we can't allow that excuse to fly no more. Saying you were raised that way, like, no, you should be forever changing. Especially if you're a Christian, man. Like, if you're still doing the same stuff that you were doing when you first got saved, there's no change. Your heart hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So, like, really, you really just gotta change. Like, it's, and if you haven't had that conviction to change, then something's clearly wrong. Because they're like, every day God be like, you know you didn't do this right? Like, if he doesn't talk to you in a state of correction at all, then something's wrong, because we're not perfect. So we should continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to be better, man. And like we said, have a spirit of humility.
Yeah. Correction is like, it can be tough sometimes, depending on how it's delivered.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a lot of times, you know, we know if something we said, a lot of times, I ain't saying all the time, but a lot of times we know if something we said wasn't quite right.
Oh yeah, of
you
course.
know, especially you know, if you got the Holy Spirit, then you know the Holy Spirit lets you know.
Yeah.
So you know, you can be like, yeah, I know I ain't do that quite right, guys. All right, so let me well, thank for grace. Thank you for grace. I can do better next time.
Exactly.
And you know, and then you always gotta have friends around, you know, that
like
be looking
circle,
out for you.
That's why you gotta be careful who you put in your circle, because if they just let you out here wilding out, like, you destroying your own self. So have that accountability. Like, don't be afraid to check your friends, your family, whoever. Be like, hey, you know that ain't right. Cause man, like, you could be the one that caused them to really look at how they do things. Like, you never know what one word will change.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, there are those who are stubborn, who feel like, you know, that you can't learn from, you know, someone that's like under them. Like, shoot, there's parents out there who feel like their children can't teach them nothing. Like, you know, especially spiritually, but at the same time they'll be wanting help with, you know, something electronics or, you know, something of that nature, but they're not good enough to give spiritual advice or spiritual insight. Like, man, you really have to stop judging people from where they were and really just look at, you know, where they are spiritually, because man, we're all still growing. At the same time, you gotta look at it even as this, man. God put a word in people that were trash.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just deny them because they're not on as a spiritual level as you. They're not as
They're not
learned.
Same age.
Yeah, like, yeah, man, like, don't doubt people because they're young, or vice versa because they're old. Like, you never know who has a word for you that can change your life, man. And like, I've come to terms that, you know, some people, they won't learn, they won't grow, they're just gonna stay the same. But at the same time, I'm not gonna give up on those who still have that chance. And I'm not giving up on the ones that are stuck in their ways, man. We always gotta pray, seek God for them. One thing I am learning is that whenever you do meet those people that are set in their ways, that you gotta remember that's a spirit in them, and that's not them themselves. Like, you know, the enemy, when he sneaks in, he grabs a part of your heart. And, you know, we have to remember that we're not fighting against flesh, we're fighting against spirits, man. So whenever you do see someone that act out a character that, you know, pops off at the mouth any kind of way, just remember that's a spirit that you're fighting and not that person. So we have to fight in the same way. We have to pray for that person, seek God, you know, that they be delivered, they be changed. In the same way, we have to pray for ourselves, that we not fall for the same trap. Because man, when the devil gets to someone else, they can push your buttons to make you do some crazy stuff.
Say the wrong thing.
So like, even us, we have to be humble in every situation, because, you know, we can fall, man. Like, there's so many times, even every day, man, we can fall in certain areas. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm challenged in, but I'm not I'm not so focused in it that, you know, I forget that God has given me grace, that he saved me, he's delivered me over and over, that he's protected me, that he's kept me. So whenever you're living a life of Christ, you got to remember that, you know, we're an example. Treat people how you want to be treated. That's the main key of humility and character. Like, you know, we're all in this together. Like, we can't treat people just any kind of way, because you never know what impact that person may do. Like, shoot, there's school shooters, man. Just think if someone would have been nice to them kids, been nice to them people. Like, there's bullying going around. Like, man, it's so important that we instill, especially in our children, the importance of being humble and having good character, of sticking up for people, for not participating in foolishness, man. Like, it runs generation deep, man. Shoot, there's still racists today that's still passing it down to their children, man. You got kids out here, you know, just calling people N-words. Like, it's passed on. It's learned language. They're not taught that. They learned that from their home, you know. So, like, even in that, you have to be humble and be like, and like, just look at yourself, man, because we can point the finger at anybody, but it starts with us first, man. Like, there's a lot of areas I need to become humble in. So, like, really have to look in the mirror first, man, and like question my character, like, because I don't do everything right, man. I don't know the answers. I sometimes lean into my own will sometimes. So,
speaking of which, let's talk about our character. I know y'all, we talking about characters. Probably somebody listening to this right now be like, oh, y'all talking about everybody? Well, technically we ain't talking about nobody, to be honest. Exactly. We talking in general. I mean, because it's a general issue out here, you know. But, you know, shoot, I don't mind talking about myself. I have issues. I have a low tolerance for a lot of people, a lot of types of people. I have a low tolerance for church people. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, what it stems from is growing up. I grew up in church. You know what I mean? Yeah. I grew up in church. I'm talking about, like, basically grew up in church.
Oh yeah, man.
You know, and like from things that I've experienced, you know, like with silly people in church. Yeah. It made me I grew up ending up having a low tolerance. Yeah. You know, and when I see people, and I see it a lot, when I see people, you know, how they treat people. I mean, and it's on two. It's really two sides of it too, because you got the super saved acting type cats. Yeah. You know, they act super saved and they be running folks off. Yeah. And then you got people who be in here just playing church. You know, they'll be in here falling out and everything, but as soon as they get out, boy, they might be drinking in the parking lot, boy. And
you know what? You even got them that don't care either way.
Yeah, and they'll be wild. You got them. Yeah, you got them that don't care. Like, they ain't even trying to pretend like they living right, but they'll still come to church though.
Exactly.
You know, so, they enjoy it.
But you know what? I prefer that than to fake it, man.
Yeah, I mean, at least you know what you're getting with them.
Okay. Yeah, like, man,
like,
shoot.
Like, so, like, talking about me, like, I mean, I'll be real. I mean, you know, it's something I'm working on. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. Like, shoot, I don't mind. Yeah. Come with the foolishness. Yeah. In the house of the Lord if you want.
Oh yeah. And like, man, I know for me, I'm very judgmental, bruh. Like, people don't like to admit it, but we are very judgmental.
I mean, everybody. I'm like, how can you not? I like, as a person, like.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm judgmental to a fault where it's bad. Like,
oh well, okay.
You know, and like, shoot, we got a whole segment about judging people. So, like, for real. But, like, even in that, I have to be like, what if I was in that person's shoes? Like, would I want someone to be talking about me like that? Or, you know, because we love to talk about folks, but, you know, we don't build them up. We don't, you know, stand out olive branch and be like, hey, like, is there anything we can do to help you out? Like, we see you in this situation. So, like, what can I do to do my part to help you out? So, like, man, I have my faults as well, man. Like, Some stuff I'm not humble in.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, one thing about it though, bro. One thing I can't say about Bubba, we don't mind talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And people, you know, some people are gonna be like, "That's all right, you growing," you know, and some people are gonna be like, "I'm glad you shared that. I deal with that too."
Yeah.
And then some people are gonna be like,
Well,
"I knew y'all wasn't real.
hypocrites.
I knew y'all wasn't real."
Y'all
I mean,
hypocrites.
I'm like, does that word have a different meaning than what we all thought it to be?
okay, because I'm
last
pretty
time I
weird.
checked, I'm like, last time I checked.
I'm-
I mean, if we're talking about it, I mean,
okay. Like our first
like-
episode, we said we ain't perfect. We said we ain't ministers, we ain't pastors, we ain't
Exactly.
none of that.
yeah,
We
I'm like,
just-
you know,
just
I heard people
believers.
say like, well, oh, y'all ain't always talking. I'm like, we said from the beginning, this wasn't gonna be like this ain't
A
Bible
whole-
study.
this is
And I'm
a-
like, did we literally
this is-
say that?
yeah, we
I'm
said-
like, this ain't church, this ain't
It ain't.
Bible study. We
like-
gonna be talking about all aspects of what we deal with in life.
Oh, love
And faith is one of the main things we deal with. I don't
Mhm.
think there's not been an episode where we didn't talk about faith.
it. No.
Like, but at the same time, it's just it's not the main base of this. Like,
Yeah.
that's not gonna be like the main center of every conversation.
Mhm.
Like, clearly, because what is this episode? What are we talking about in this episode? Character
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah, character and humbleness,
and
man.
being humble. So you know, we just humbled ourselves just now.
Oh, yeah,
Talk about
man.
ourselves real quick. We on a breakaway. I mean,
Mhm.
I was like, yeah. I mean,
Because
because I realize it every day that, you know, I was like, because sometimes when I talk about people in church, it gets on my nerves, man. I be like, bro, like, I don't even want to deal with these jokers, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like church culture, man. Like it's played out in a lot of ways. Like, you know, I think this pandemic is even opening up our eyes of how church really is.
Yeah.
Because you're starting to see more people be like, well, we need, if y'all can go to work, then you can come to church. And like, and it's like, are they really wanting us to come to church? Or are they wanting us for our offering? Are they wanting us so they can misuse and abuse us? Are they wanting us to just build their platform off of us? Like,
Well, yeah, I mean,
like
shoot,
what's
way
the
I see
motive, man? Like,
it, the way
are
I
you
huh?
are you really in an intent to like change lives, to help people, to seek God about what we need? You know, like what's your true intent in all of that?
Like, yeah, you should be wise. I mean, be wise. Like, you
Yeah.
got, you know, you got a lot of members. It's best that you don't have a regular service like that right now, because people in church are out here getting mad, sick. Like,
Yeah, man. I mean, even the Bible says follow the rules of the land. So if it says don't have more than 10 people in the place, don't have more than 10 people in the place.
you know,
Like we try to go against, you know, what the or quote unquote world does, but we pick and choose, man. We don't follow the whole thing. Like those rules are set in place to protect you. It's not to stop what God is doing. Like, man, God can move through Zoom, bruh. I've seen him do it.
yeah, and if y'all was, I feel like, yeah, I mean, and I've seen other churches do this. If y'all was really that pressed by having service, I've seen other churches, they did it outside.
Exactly. Like, man.
Like, outside, there's no stipulations on being outside because
Yeah.
everybody can be spread out, no problem.
Exactly. Mhm.
Like, combine with another church. Y'all combine y'all's
And you know what, man? I think a lot of churches, they fear not having or seeing members, because for them, members means that your ministry is still running. And truly, I think I had this conversation with someone else like a long time ago. Like, we shouldn't be trusting in membership to run our churches. We should be trusting in God. Like, no matter if anybody gives, we should be trusting God to keep this thing afloat. We should be trusting in Him who gives us everything we need. If we're not doing that, what's the whole point of church? Like, like really, like God, I mean, Jesus himself teaches over and over how we shouldn't like trust in the things of this world. So if you're struggling with like, well, how are we gonna keep our doors open, or, you know, how are we gonna do this and that? Like,
Jesus said,
like
God feeds the birds.
okay,
You
like
think He ain't gonna take care of y'all?
exactly, like, man, it doesn't take a building to do church, man. Jesus was out in the open, just, spreading the gospel. And I think this quarantine may be a way of trying to get us back to that, where we can go out and just be out in the open and spread the gospel. But because sometimes these four walls do constrict us. Like, if you keep seeing the same people over and over, how are you gonna bring in new believers? So I think, you have to try new environments, try new methods, try new things. Like, a lot of people were scared to, 2010, bro, they were bashing Facebook. Like, they were saying it's the devil, like, we shouldn't be on there. Like, they were bashing it. But now you see a lot of people on there streaming their services live.
Well, several years ago, after that, 2010, but several years after that, some of the most drama starting people on social media was church people.
Oh yeah, bro. It's crazy.
Starting messing with each other on Facebook, right? Like throwing shade at each other.
Oh yeah, bro. Like I said, social media can be good tool, but when you use it wrong, you can do some damage. You can do some damage, but we say all this to say, stay humble, because you never know when you're gonna fall. Because I've seen it over and over so many times when we've created an idol of someone or something, God will take that thing out because he doesn't want anything above him. So whenever you're at work and you want to pop off, you want to do something contrary to your character, remember, stay humble. Treat people how you want to be treated. Even if they treat you like trash, treat people how you want to be treated, man. Your character speaks a lot of you. It'll open doors for you that you could have never imagined. I've had job opportunities because of my character, man. Because they be like, oh man, Jeremy's a good person. He's cool to work with. Just little stuff like that, man. It'll take you a long way. So when you have humility, it opens doors. Just being a good character, pursuing, what's right. But like I said, man, there are some people who not gonna change, and you can't force them. You just gotta pray for them and seek God for them, and at the same time, you can't make that be your main focus as well. You gotta live your life. You gotta do what you're called to do. You gotta pursue God for yourself. So you can't let what others say or do to dictate your own relationship with Christ. And like I said, man, you stay humble. Remember where you were when God found you, because we've all done some trash stuff. I mean, trash stuff. So just remember, man, stay humble. If you don't learn nothing else from this podcast, be humble
and be consistent.
Oh yeah. So
consistently check yourself. Consistently be sometimes people ain't you're not gonna have anybody there to build you up, so you got to build yourself up. And you have to check yourself. You have to check yourself, and you have to build yourself up sometimes. Yes, sir. There's not gonna always be somebody there to do it for you. Sometimes you have to do it yourself.
Oh yeah, man. Sure.
There's not gonna always be somewhere to pray for you. You got to pray for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes having that your own personal relationship.
Yeah.
And be of strong, sound character.
That is the key right there.
Be humble and stay away from the foolishness.
Stay away from the foolishness.
Speaking of which, y'all already know what time it is.
Oh yeah.
It is Miss Me with the Foolishness. Go ahead and tell them what it's talking about, bro.
So, we got another Florida man on this one.
Florida man can't get right, boy. Can't never get right.
So, there was this Florida man who was accused of lashing out at these fast food workers over a lack of lettuce. Now, this was at a Checkers. So, he He got mad because there wasn't enough lettuce on his sandwich. This man's 49
It
years
must have been
old.
a BLT.
It probably was. This man was beating on the glass window, trying to break in, screaming at employees. Like, they were scared. They were like, no. So they called the cops, and they came. And, you know, he denied the allegations, saying he wasn't doing what he was doing. But, you know, they probably got him on tape. But, yeah, like, he refused to give his driver's license. Like, man, yeah. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Like, he was trying to get him in handcuffs, and he was fighting that. So, like, bruh, he was just out here wilding.
Over
some lettuce.
One of the, like, what? Don't they say lettuce is like water? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like water.
Pretty much, man. But you know what? Checkers got some trash people that come.
I think we shared this story before, bro.
Oh, yeah. We had to share it because that was
That was back in February.
Yeah, that was
we
back
went
in
to go
February.
see Kev on stage.
In Tampa.
Yeah, we went to this church. I forget the name of it.
Crossover Church.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So went there, dope church. Y'all, if you're in Tampa, check it out.
Oh yeah.
But so we went to the Checkers and like, it's just like these guys behind us. You know, he's chilling. He just
just a
you know,
couple of
he's
white
in his
guys.
own world.
You know, they just
he's wearing his polarized sunglasses. You can't even see his eyes.
Yeah.
You can't see his eyes. So this homeless dude walks up on him.
Black man at that.
I mean, he's in his face. I thought
Bruh, you remember that Joker's haircut?
Bruh, he had the jigsaw.
Cause I think he was like half braided with cornrows and
bruh, he literally just had like patches in his head.
Oh yeah,
bro.
I remember.
Like it looked like somebody glued jigsaw pieces of a puzzle on his head, bro. They put hair on it, bro. It just was ugly, bro.
He was. Ooh.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, honestly, it looked like he was snatching his hair out, man.
Yeah,
dude was off.
Had a bag full of I don't know what.
Somebody's clothes.
And
I
hope it was clothes.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, go ahead and tell what old buddy did.
So like he walks up on the white dude. The white dude's just looking like mad confused. Like he's like, bro, you gonna stop staring at me.
Yeah, he was like this close to the Joker's face. This close. Now, because I remember when I seen him walking up, I tapped you. I was like, bro, look at this dude. Yeah,
because I knew, I just knew he was gonna swing on him, bro. Like the way.
I mean, when we got out the car, my eyes were on him the whole time because he was just scared.
Like the way he was looking at him, man. Like I just knew he was about to. I was like, Lord, he about to swing on this man.
At the mean-eye, he was just like
he was like, he was like crazy.
You looking at me?
You gonna stop looking at me?
You gonna stop looking at me?
You gonna stop staring at me? I'm like, but like I said, dude had on sunglasses. You can't see his eyes. How you it's still like, dude was so confused.
And it's weird. Before he did that, he was sizing everybody up.
Yeah. I was like, well, he came to the right ones. He came to the right ones too, boy.
We just got out of church, but you know he can catch these hands.
I was like, bro, I will lay hands on a homeless dude while rolling up like that, bro. Okay. I was like, bro, if you want a sandwich, cool, but don't roll up on me like that, bro. Because I will lay hands on you and then buy you a BLT. Okay. And give him extra lettuce. Tell him to put extra lettuce, not extra bacon. I'm telling you, this dude's salty enough as it is, boy. He wildin'.
Yeah, man. Like that was just weird.
Yeah, Checkers. Cause
Checkers do bring a weird crowd sometimes,
and they hire weird people, man. In Kentucky, I remember this was like years ago, like probably over a decade. Yeah. But Checkers has another company called Rallies. Yeah. It's basically the same thing, and. Dude was relieving himself in the mayonnaise, bro.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know how you feel about that,
bruh. Like he gonna die. If they would have took him to jail, I would have broke in and killed that Joker. I'm sorry, that's just one of my flaws.
Yeah, dude relieving himself in the mayonnaise, man.
Oh yeah, I would have. Yeah, Buddy
Like-
would have had to lose his life.
I was particularly hurt because like how old was I? I might have been 12.
Wait, you got one of the sandwiches?
Huh?
You got one of the sandwiches?
This was like he wasn't still working there.
Oh, I was finna say. I was like, bro, you.
Nah, this is when I found out about this. This was like a couple of years later. And I don't even know if it was the same one.
Oh, okay, I was like,
But
bruh,
still, though,
man,
the thought,
okay,
the thought was enough. I was
Woo.
like, bruh.
Mm.
I was like, bruh.
Cause like I only get like the chicken sandwiches from there anyway,
And which ain't got nothing but mayonnaise on it
okay.
anyway. So like,
so it's like, oh no,
it's up there.
Okay,
Like, bruh, like, oh no.
yeah.
That reminds me of that one scene off of American Pie Band Camp.
Mm-hmm.
Where dude was like putting the suntan lotion on.
Oh,
Or he
yeah,
thought that's
yeah.
what he thought it was.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. mm-hmm.
I was like, boy, these
Yeah.
people play too much.
Okay, man. Like, you gotta stop this mess. Like,
I was like, I'm gonna get enough of pranking folks.
okay,
Like when couples be pranking each other, acting like they cheating on the
Yeah.
other.
brother. I don't even know why they even do that. It's
I
not
was
even
like-
funny. Like, I'm like, come on now.
I was like, bro, somebody trying to see the Lord,
okay,
cause that's gonna go backfire on somebody
I'm
one
telling
day.
you. Yeah.
Cause I remember I seen one girl. She was on top of a dog, acting
Mhm.
like she was like riding. And
Yeah.
dude hopped on that bed and doggone Luke Kane flying side kicked that girl off that bed.
Dang. Well,
Hey, then when he found out, and then he hopped on the dog, was like blip blip blip. Then he looked. He was like,
Okay.
"This thing ain't real." I was tripping on how he just flying side kick. He was like, I was like, boy, y'all better stop playing with folks, man. Folks
telling
ain't
you.
stable like that. Folks
Mhm.
ain't stable to be playing
I'm telling
playing
you,
with
bro.
relationship like that,
Okay.
boy.
Yeah. That's yeah. Gotta stay without this foolishness, man. Especially in 2020.
Yeah,
Like
we coming
COVID.
to an end though, man. We done
Oh,
made
yeah,
it
yeah.
through, man. This was
Yeah, man.
the wildest year
Yeah.
of my grown up life. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah, because
like-
everything has changed, man. Like, it's just weird, man.
But you know, I'm just blessed to be seeing. I'll be 31 next
yes,
Tuesday,
sir.
so that's a blessing.
Mhm.
So far, I've been COVID free.
Yeah, man.
I've known
same.
a number of people
Yeah.
personally, or their their close family members that have
Mhm.
gotten it.
Yeah.
You know,
same.
I thank God I don't know anybody who's actually died from it yet.
Mhm.
So, but I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't like some of the ones that went through it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Some of them, boy,
But you
it
know
was
what,
hell
man?
for them.
I mean, they're even saying that even if you catch and recover, it still changes your body forever. So,
Yeah,
like,
and you can catch it again.
mhm.
Too. So,
So yeah, man, it's a blessing, man, to still be here in 2020. Cause man, there's a lot going on. Like,
2020 wasn't no joke, but
mhm. And people think because of the quarantine and Corona that people are behaving out here. No, people still getting killed. People still doing they dirt. Like they still out here shooting. They still out here wilding out. And like, you know, you still gotta stay safe. You know, whether that's with your health, whether that's with when you're out. Like, you know, be careful out here in these streets, cause you know, people thinking that it's over and it's not.
yeah.
It's not.
I worked at this spot in South Carolina for a couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and it was this guy named Outlaw. It was his name. That's what he called himself, Outlaw.
Oh dang.
And he was cool people, but he used to have this saying, and he used to say it so like nonchalantly, but
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, he was like, be mindful,
Yeah.
and that's what we should be.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
man. Definitely.
in this day and time.
Mhm.
Be mindful.
Yes, sir.
where you the company you keep.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful of, where you just of everyday life. Don't be and that doesn't mean be fearful. It's completely different. Just be mindful.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. You got anything else you want to talk about, bro?
No, man. Like, I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, just remember, stay humble. Like,
Y'all, if y'all feeling transparent, drop something y'all dealing with, a character flaw or something y'all working on.
exactly.
The Lord's working on you.
Yeah.
Something. Drop it in the comments. We'll talk
Mhm.
about it. Let's talk about it.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
want to hit us up? You can hit us up at parkinglotparables@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
You can follow me, Matthew Priest, on Facebook. Matthew_E_Priest on Instagram, and I'm President MP on Snapchat and Twitter.
Oh yeah, and you can follow me at the Chase Harden on all social media platforms.
Once again, like we said, be of sound mind and character.
Yes, sir.
Be humble.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what life will throw at you.
Yeah.
You never know who you need.
Rather stay humble than to be humble.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like in all instances, be asked up.
Yep.
In that instead of being asked to step down.
Tell me.
But yep, y'all already know what it is. I am Matt P.
And I'm Jeremy Chase.
One time.
Yes, sir.